Check 1, 2, here we go, man. The full of Fizz Ed, full effect, man. Big Mike, the Fat Maxter, coming at you live and direct from MaxCity.com, Max City Limits Radio Show, and Power and Strategy.com. And of course, man, this wouldn't be a banger without my partner, man, my co-host, man, Tony Maceo, nigga, Fuchsius Magneto. Bruh, I just got off work. I'm tired of the some bitch, man, but I was about to lay it on down, but my boy, man, he hit me up and he was just like, man, he just had like a revelation. He said, I think I know what this is, Mac. I think I know what this is. And I'm like, what the hell is this nigga talking about? And of course, we just did a show with Umar Johnson, Boyce Watkins, Zaza Ali, Cynthia G, all this pro-black shit, man. And we basically talking about who's a fraud and who ain't a fraud. And Tony basically saying, I think I know what this is, man, pertaining to Boyce Watkins. What's going on with these broads, man, you know what I mean? So I'm going to hear him out. He dug up the complaint, have you?
Yep,
the complaint?
got the complaint here.
Okay, he's got the official complaint. What, Maria Lloyed?
Maria Lloyed.
Okay, all right. So we're going to use our intelligence and our expertise and our experience to go ahead and decipher this shit. You feel me? So without further ado, Tony, what's going on, man? What do you see in this complaint?
Okay. This is a 21-page complaint, but we're going to go through this briefly because many of the allegations are repetitive.
Okay.
So first of all, the complaint was filed in Illinois, state of Illinois, in federal court, the Northern District.
All right.
She's suing the Boyce Watkins and all of his various entities. No problem there.
Mm-hmm.
The case is being heard by Judge Lefkoe, but right now it's in the magistrate's court, which is Judge Jeffrey Cole. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So let's start from the beginning. We're gonna go through this really quick because I know you're getting tired, but we're gonna try to bring a little bit of heat here.
Okay.
Let's get to the basic meat of the complaint. Okay, she says on about March 2012 through August 2012, she was a blogger.
Mm-hmm.
She was a blogger for Your Black World. Okay.
All right.
In other words, she wrote for Boyce Watkins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a writer for Boyce Watkins, she did articles. She was also working as a marketing assistant for a company called Admiral at the Lake. Okay.
All right.
At that time, she says the company was partially owned by Boyce Watkins. So Boyce Watkins wanted to increase the revenue from the company, for his company, and he needed someone to promote his advertising material to his customers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the interesting part.
Hold on, dog. Hold on. What's that?
What the hell that is? What the hell that is? Hold on. All right, I don't know what the hell that is. All right, now, keep in mind now, Maria Lloyed is from Mobile County, Alabama.
Okay.
Boyce Watkins is in Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got people in two different places, and it makes sense if she's a blogger, she could be in another state. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it says this: at the suggestion of Boyce Watkins, she resigned her job at the marketing firm and became a full-time blogger and sales manager for Your Black World and the e-commerce store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, okay. You've known this guy, let's see, from March to August. Let's see, that's March, April, May, June, July.
Mm-hmm.
4 months, this guy would make you quit your job.
Uh-huh.
Or suggest for you to quit your job.
Right.
4 months. A job that's paying your bills.
Yeah.
And you're in another state.
Yeah.
Okay? He's suggesting that you quit your job and come to work for him, essentially, as a full-time employee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Miss Lloyd had to be exceptional, or there's something else involved.
All right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it says by September, she also began managing defendant Boyce Watkins' career.
Okay.
Boyce Watkins has a PhD in finance. I'm sure Boyce Watkins would know how to run his career. And why would he take a woman that he's only known for roughly 6 months to manage his career. That's interesting to me. You would take a blogger, your employee is now managing your career.
I don't think she's an employee. She's contracted, right?
Well, at the time, but no, at the time she was a full-time blogger. So at the time she was an employee. That's what's in her complaint.
She was a full-time
She became
employee.
a full-time blogger, editor, copywriter, and sales manager. So he may have contracted her as an independent contractor. She may be. But my point is, being that that's the case, employee, independent contractor, tomato.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this. You took somebody that you didn't know for 6 months, and you made them the manager of your career.
Right.
Now, arguably, I don't know what her educational background is, and I don't know what her talents are. But I would wager there are other people at your black world who had more time in than her. I'm sure had more time in her as bloggers, one of which I'm sure was Yvette Carnell.
Right.
Why would he pick her to manage his career? Okay. So that's strange to me. Okay. And then it says, as part of her new role, she flew to New York City with him for an interview with the Breakfast Club. That interview created a whole lot of interest in him as a financial advisor. So then at some point, because of the swell of interest involved in that, they said, well, instead of counseling these people one-on-one, why don't you set up something called a Black Wealth Boot Camp?
Okay.
So they set up this boot camp. And according to Miss Lloyd, she is given 18% interest in a company that she says was her idea. Watkins has 72% and his brother has 18%, which in the complaint she says he started off having only 10. Okay. So, I mean, let's start at the beginning. You got somebody from a different state that's a blogger. She has a permanent job. This man not only has her to quit her job, but he brings her on full-time with him, and he's now traveling with his independent contractor. Sounds like somebody's tricking. That's what it sounds like.
I think you're reaching, Tony.
That's what it... Oh, really?
I think you're reaching, sir.
Reaching?
Yeah, I think you're reaching, man.
Oh, okay. You don't know somebody for 6 months. You make them a manager. And you take them on... You get them to manage your career and take them on the road with you.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense, right?
If you Boyce Watkins, it makes sense.
We see you, Dr. Boyce. Somebody's tricking. Sound like some trick shit to me.
Hence the reason why we have this lawsuit.
Oh, wait a minute now. Are you saying she wasn't legitimately injured? Would you dare to suggest that?
It's the same shit Cosby went through, same shit I went through. You know what I'm saying? When I had females on deck putting in work, and then it was time to go ahead and move on to greener pastures, bitches got mad at me, and bitches talk about they gonna sue me and take me to court. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, time is done. It's time for me to move on. But I want more money. You got what you got. That's what we agreed on. It's time for you to bounce. I'm gonna sue. Well, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Then the same shit happened to Cosby. You know what I mean? The females running up on him, want to be movie stars, want to have their name in bright lights. Cosby said, well, you know what? Fuck with me. And, we'll see what happened. You know what I mean? And evidently, they didn't get what they thought they was going to get. Their name wasn't in bright lights. They didn't come no movie star. Now, all of a sudden, they all done cooped up. They done trooped up on him.
And hatched a plot.
And hatched a plot, took him to court. You know what I'm saying? And ironically, I see the chickens coming home to roost with Boyce, quite possibly, because like I said, he surrounded himself with none but broads. You know what I mean? It's easy to see right through what's going on with homeboy, man. You know what I mean? He's using his power and his position and his so-called wealth, you know, to get at chicks. You know what I mean? And this is the same thing he condemned Cosby for. You know what I mean? He came down on Cosby real hard, talking about how unsavory and how uncouth and how degenerative Cosby was, you know, right from the onset of this scandal. Now it looks like maybe, quite possibly, Boyce might be going down the same road. Maybe, quite possibly, you know what I mean? I'm just going with my nose here, you know what I mean? Going with my gut. I think there's a lot of trick shit going on here. A lot of females is kind of disgruntled because it didn't pan out the way they thought it was going to pan out. You know, just my personal opinion, sir.
It's interesting that you say that, because guess what is the very next allegation?
What's that?
It says, soon after the launch, defendant Boyce Watkins informed plaintiff Richard that the Black Wealth Bootcamp was the first of all ventures to earn him 6 figures in a short amount of time.
Okay.
So what he's saying is he got paid. That idea paid him. Now, she only owns 18% of the company. Okay? Now, she's saying, first of all, let's stop there. Why would she only earn, if it's her idea, why would she only have 18%? Why do you think she would only have 18%?
Because he put up the capital to get it rolling.
Because he put up the capital.
It's kind of like, you know, when you look at the record company, the record industry, man. You know, you have record companies that put up the money to basically produce the artist, to do the marketing for the artist. You know, all the money goes up front basically so that the artist can shine, so the artist can be known, you know what I mean? And, you know, the record company is assuming all the risk with all the money that they pumping into it. That's why they tell the artist you get 2 cents per album, some shit like that, you know what I mean? Seems like that's what's possibly going on here.
That he put up the money, so that's why he would take the lion's share.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense. Now, is there anything fraudulent about that?
No, that's standard procedure, man.
That's standard procedure.
Yeah, it's SOP.
Okay. It says that she invested a considerable amount of resources to further her investment. Now, note now, she never says what that investment is, but in terms of dollars. But here's what she says. Managing online platforms, assisting with the selling of online offerings, enrolling participants in the school, dealing and resolving customer service issues, and creating PowerPoint presentations for all of his lectures, or for all 5 of his lectures. Now, granted, that may be time consuming, but that's not anything that would entitle you to more than 18% if that man is putting up all of his money.
Right.
Okay? So that you know, you can go somewhere with that. 18%, you got what you got.
Okay.
That's it. You ain't got nothing else coming. You signed this model release, you got cashed out, take your ass home.
Right.
You know, and you know what happened. She got amongst some other ratchets. He got all that money and he pimping you and you ain't getting nothing out of it. Don't that sound familiar?
Sound real familiar.
He on the internet making all that money off your presentations, and you ain't getting nothing but 18%.
Yeah. They used to kill me, man. They used to say shit like, I know all about the industry. I know I'm supposed to get a cut. I'm supposed to get percentages. Like, bitch, get out of my face with that shit. Got paid up front.
Get
your ass out of here, girl.
You got what you got. Exactly. And then she says that him and his brother, Lawrence, who he bought on, she said they frequently fleeced the Black Wealth Bootcamp, used it to line their own pockets in millions of dollars, shifting and stripping of it all valuable assets, among others, soliciting registered students to cancel enrollment and register with the other named defendants. Those are his other businesses.
Okay.
By using their contact information, their email lists, and siphoning off their registration. So in other words, what she's saying is that when this business started making money, Boyce Watkins set up a bunch of other businesses and said, hey, join these businesses. If you like that, join these businesses. And he drew them away from the black business, the Black Wealth Boot Camp, to his other businesses.
Okay.
Now, I still don't see what's fraudulent about that.
Right.
I still don't see. It's what any corporation would do. See, we got shit twisted. We confuse morality with legality.
Okay.
And the two don't necessarily go together in a capitalist ideology. In a free market economy, allegedly, as this is supposed to be. And that's another subject. But businesses do that all the time. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. It was a company in Michigan, I know, that a black woman started a trucking company. Mm-hmm. And in Michigan, General Motors had a sort of affirmative action contract, which is really what the battle of affirmative action is all about. It's all about money. But anyway, General Motors said that because niggas buy a disproportionate amount of our vehicles, and we have a disproportionate amount of niggas on the assembly line, we need to give some of that money back to black businesses, right?
All right.
So this woman sets up a trucking company, and she gets a business account with General Motors. Mm-hmm. That business account is worth at least $100 million. That's what it's worth. Mm-hmm. So this woman started that company, and she built that company, but she fell ill and died. Right. Okay, so what happened is this white man, and to get that contract, you got to have a minority business designation. You got to be designated as an authorized minority business. That means minorities have to hold the majority of shares in that company. So what happens is this woman dies. A white man came along and bought the company, but he distributed the minority of shares to people that were on his payroll. Now, he got 49% of the shares, but the other 51% is split up between so-called minorities, with the last 3% belonging to his black daughter-in-law that was married to his white son.
All right.
So then what he does is he gets the contract from General Motors and the cash infusion from General Motors. Then he sets up his own private white trucking company, right? Mm-hmm. And then leases his trucks to the black company. That way he's able to siphon off the money. Okay. So in other words, his company is now charging the black-owned business money to rent equipment. That way he gets the money and still stays within the provisions of that minority business designation. Now that's crooked than a motherfucker. Okay. It's morally wrong, but legally it's absolutely doable.
Okay.
It's not illegal. So my point is that shit that you think may be immoral doesn't necessarily mean it's illegal. That's why I frown when these niggas start talking about fraud, because they don't know what fraud is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They don't understand what fraud is in the course of doing business. But I move on.
Okay.
Okay. She said defendants grossly mismanaged the Black Wealth Boot Camp because they used it as their personal piggy bank. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, there's still no allegations that he's defrauding people.
Right.
What she's saying is he's shifting assets between companies.
Okay.
That's not fraud.
Okay.
You understand? Shifting assets between companies is not fraud, especially in this case where the shareholders, all of the shareholders are not disclosed. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, you only have 18% of the business. Mm-hmm. So if I'm the shareholder and I take the majority of the risk, isn't it logical that I would look after me first?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that fraudulent to you, sir?
No, that's basic goddamn business. Man.
Okay, so when your checks came from your online businesses, mm-hmm. did you automatically pick up the phone and call them bitches and say, hey, payday?
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Shit.
Did you give them 70% of whatever your check was because they were modeling?
I'm the one that did the graphics. I'm the one that did the marketing. I'm the one that shot the shit. I'm the one that edited the shit. I did all the work. I put all my money into it. All they did was lay on their back and take the dick. That's all they had to do.
But Fat Mac, come on now. They were out there. They were exposed. They were on the internet. And after all, you promised them nobody would see it.
Shit.
Right?
No, I didn't say that shit. Don't say that shit. I didn't say nobody would see it. I said I would limit your exposure in your city. That's what I said. Get that right, nigga. Don't goddamn shit get me in trouble. This the Cosby era, man. Lying ass bitches. Hell no. But check this out. What do you say about, because from what I'm hearing, he had multiple businesses, right? And from what I'm hearing, these businesses are no longer active. They have been dissolved. And from what I'm hearing, he's using these businesses to wrangle in people and say, look, I have businesses. You know, I'm successful. Come join me. Sign up with me. Even though these businesses no longer exist. Is that fraudulent?
If he's asking them to sign up under the name of those businesses and to pay money in the name of dissolved businesses, that would be fraud if that's what he's doing. Okay. But that's not what's in this complaint. What this woman is saying is that what he's doing is he's using these businesses as a means to transfer money. That's what's in here. Okay.
All right.
He hasn't been found guilty of signing people up at closed businesses, and as far as I know, there has not been one registrant. Any person that registered with his business has yet to come forward and say he signed me up for a business that's been dissolved. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
All we have are these YouTube nigger rumors. Okay. So then she goes in here and she says that she gives the principal place of office, the principal place of businesses for all of these entities: Boyce Watkins LLC, the Black Wealth Boot Camp, Watkins Media Group, Your Black World, which is in, she said the offices are in Tennessee, which is a little closer because she's from Alabama, and the Great Black Speakers. That's his business that takes the money for his lectures, that sets up his lectures. So I don't even see how that would be related. But what she did in this complaint was, and it's what you do in all complaints, you name everybody possible. And in this complaint, she says that she doesn't know what their capacity is. She don't know what their function is. She's just naming them because they're entities. That's actually in this complaint. She's not even sure. The law firm, the Bowles law firm that filed this case, said that they're not even sure what these entities have to do with anything. They say this in the complaint. Okay? So let's get to these allegations that they said, well, there's no mention of fraud in the complaint. That is technically not true. The word fraud is not in here, but it's in here under other names, such as misrepresentation, such as conversion, such as mismanagement. All these terms are similar to the word fraud. But in using these terms, she's not saying he's defrauding people. She's saying he closed this company and forced me out, put the money in his pocket, and shuffled the rest of it between his businesses. Now, what she may have is money coming to her for work that she's done that she has not been paid for. Okay, that is an employment claim. That's not fraud. That's a breach of contract claim. That's not fraud. You understand? Okay. She gives the date here that it was formed, which was February 16, 2016, 2 years ago. The Articles of Incorporation is enclosed, and she cites the Illinois statute of the Limited Liability Company Act, Section 15-5. And she says that and the reason she cited it is because, again, this complaint shows that this is a fishing expedition. Anybody that knows how to read this complaint knows that they're fishing. And I know what they're doing. What you do is, if you got somebody with a deep pocket, you know that they can't take the hit of that type of bad publicity in the press. So what you're doing is you're using the shaming tactic of litigation to enforce a settlement. So what she's doing, she's saying, in essence, this is this nigga going around talking all this pro-black shit, and look at he's exploiting this poor black woman. And then she's saying, by citing this particular statute, she says it does not require an operating agreement. An operating agreement is an agreement by which the company is supposed to run. But in the state of Illinois, you don't have to have one. That's what the federal statute says. But she brought that up to raise the suspicion to say, well, this nigga doing business without an operating agreement. That's how you know he's scamming.
Okay.
But the state of Illinois says he doesn't have to have an operating agreement.
Okay.
Other than your modeling agreement to use the pictures, do you have an operating agreement with your hoes?
First of all, what the hell is an operating agreement?
An operating agreement is something, again, it tells how the contract, how the company is run. It tells what officer is supposed to do what job, who's responsible for what.
All right, I got you. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Hell nah, they don't need to know none of that shit.
Okay. Do you have, the only operating agreement is, look, bitch, take your clothes off, bend over, get on your knees. That's your operating agreement.
You're so crass, Tony.
You see what I'm saying?
You're crass, sir.
No, I'm real, brother.
You're cringeworthy.
Okay, so it's saying here that there's no operating agreement. There was discussions about drafting one. So basically, she's trying to hint that he's doing nigga business.
Right,
okay?
right. Okay.
So, but my question is that, okay, he's doing nigga business. If that's the case, why would you leave sure employment, a sure check, to follow a nigga that's doing nigga business? Mm-hmm. Why would you leave this nigga just to go to an interview in New York City? Why would you leave a sure employment to become a nigga's manager that's doing nigga business? Mm-hmm. Again, I reiterate, it's some trick shit going on here.
So she wasn't, because she's married now, so she wasn't involved with whoever this dude is she married to when she was with Boyce. You don't know?
We don't know. I'm going by the complaint here.
Okay.
So you would think she wouldn't be.
Right.
But it wouldn't. I wouldn't put it past her.
Now, how long ago was she with the company? 2016?
She started with the company. She started with him in 2012.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? The company was formed on paper in February of 2016. Okay. So that means she was with him before the company came. That means she stayed with him for 4 years.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not 4, 6, because this is 2018. This is when she finally sued.
Right.
So she been with him for 6 years. He made her leave her job. He made her his manager after 6 months and took her on the road with him. Mm-hmm. That sounded like some trick shit with some cupcaking thrown in there.
So you don't know if there's been any men who have complaints about Boyce?
I'm not aware of any. There may be, but I'm not aware.
I keep thinking there's one dude, man. I can't. But it's just so many women coming out. You know what I mean? Just and due to the fact that there's so many women, it would appear that it's the same shit that Cosby was doing, man.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And now I understand what Yvette Carnell's real beef is. He got rid of her motherfucking ass.
Because she don't. You know, she played for a different team.
She played for a different team.
He couldn't tap that.
He couldn't tap that. I don't know why anybody would want to tap Yvette Carnell anyway. But nevertheless, now I'm beginning to see the undercurrent. Mm-hmm. And it explains why Boyce is not answering these allegations. Mm-hmm. He would have to come out and admit that he was tricking. Mm-hmm. It would require him to expose all of the behind the scenes shit that he been hiding. Right. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's why, because I was like, okay, why isn't he answering these allegations? Mm-hmm. He's not answering these allegations because there presumes the existence of a personal relationship. Mm-hmm. He was tricking and cupcaking with this broad.
And really, that's the same thing Cosby did.
That's what
Cosby he didn't say jack shit about hardly none of them allegations, man. I was like, man, why don't you go ahead and speak on this, Cos? You know what I mean? He wouldn't say shit in his own defense, man. I'm like, damn, bro. Okay. I don't know. I guess, that tricking shit, motherfuckers ashamed. They ashamed, boy.
Ashamed of tricking.
Not me, Jack.
That's Jack. What makes us so balls out. We don't care. You understand?
Shit.
And what? Yeah.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
Shit. Good customer service, baby.
Excellent. Okay. She comes back also to this thing about her owning 18%, which is a very small amount. But here's the point. Mm-hmm. She said that it was further understood and agreed that all profits will be divided based on pro rata shares. In other words, the profits are split up according to how much you own of the company.
Okay.
Okay. And she said, as the instructor, he was to deliver online courses using the online platforms. Now, it's apparent here that she don't like his brother.
Okay.
Because she's saying he really didn't have any role within the company. It was never clear what his role was.
All right.
But he was just there. Now, I could understand that too. That doesn't necessarily mean, it means he put his brother down. There's nothing fraudulent about that. That's his brother. His brother may have been having a hard time economically, or he may have wanted somebody in the company that he trusts, so he put his brother down.
Right.
Nothing fraudulent about that. Nothing to see here. Moving along. Okay, so then she says her responsibilities, again, she goes over the same shit, selling online offers, which is basically sales, enrolling participants, resolving customer service issues and PowerPoint lectures and designing that shit. And then she repeats herself. It was the first to earn him. See, she keeps coming back. He got paid. He got paid. He got paid. That's all she's saying. He got paid 6 figures.
Right.
Nigga, I want some more money. That's what she's saying here.
I know all about that.
Yeah.
All about that.
She's saying that the companies were concocted to shift profits, not to defraud customers, to shift profits.
Okay.
You got a problem with that? See Chase. You got a problem with that? See General Motors. You got a problem with that? See Ford. You got a problem with that? See Apple. You got a problem with that? See Microsoft. Because every single corporation out there has companies, has subsidiaries by which they shift profits to. You'd be a fool if you think Bill Gates only owns a software company. You'd be a fool if you think that Coca-Cola only does Coke.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They have a bunch of subsidiary companies that they shift money to back and forth. So, again, there's nothing fraudulent here, okay? She said that, again, it's the same shit. He's soliciting students from one place, which would make sense if the goddamn place is closed.
All right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Why would I keep somebody in a business I've dissolved when I would shift them to my company where I own more of the shares, where I would take most of the profit?
Okay.
Now, you can argue that that's greedy, but that's not illegal and that's not fraud.
All right.
Okay? So we can see here that her problem is not that he's defrauding people. She wants her cut. Now, the question is, what does she think her cut is supposed to be? And you notice in this complaint, she never disclosed that whether or not she got any money.
Okay.
Now, I know if he was tricking, he gave us some money.
Oh, yeah.
So now the question is, how much money did he give her? See, this is not a case about him defrauding anybody. This is a case, again, about her wanting more money.
Man, because Lord knows I gave my babies a whole lot of money, boy.
But what did they say? I'm on the internet, he's still making money off me, and I want some more money. I'm fucked up over here, and he's still making money.
He paid me chicken feed. Bitch.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
That's what's in this complaint.
Yeah.
That is what she's saying in this complaint. The very next sentence, she said he rerouted about $450,000 from the usurp company, which is Black Wealth Boot Camp. To market his other companies. She said they're shams.
Right.
But nobody is saying that the other companies are shams. She's saying they're shams because he owns them without her having an interest in them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in other words, he found a way to keep more of the profit by spreading this money out between other companies. Okay? And she doesn't even allege what's so fraudulent about the other companies. She's just alleging that these are other companies that she don't have an interest in. Okay? Right. So you are the equivalent of let's use your term. I would say employee, you would say independent contractor. Since when does an independent contractor be concerned about the lion's share of the money? You get what you get. Right. So we're looking at about 18% of 450,000. 18%, 25 of 10% is what? 45,000. So 18% is probably somewhere between $72,000 and $75,000. Now the question is how much money did she get for that 6-year period? That's not disclosed in the complaint.
Okay.
And I know that's what that's going to be one of his affirmative defenses. You know what his affirmative? Bitch, you got what you got. Mm-hmm. I paid you. I cashed you out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I paid for your travel expenses when we went to the Breakfast Club interview. I paid for your meals when you went with me. You see what I'm saying? I paid you for those blog articles. I paid you to do those PowerPoint presentations. You got your money up front. You signed the model release. You got cashed out.
Right.
Out. What?
Sounds fraudulent to me, Tony. That's fraud.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Everything is fraud.
Everything is fraud.
It's like, God damn, man. These motherfuckers read a book or something, man. Shit. That's fraudulent.
Okay.
Shit.
And she said that in this thing, his co-conspirator is his brother. She keeps going back to the fact that it's him and his brother. Right. So what she's saying is Mike and the side trickster got all the money.
Yep.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
Mike and the side trickster got all the money and I got peanuts. Because that's what she's saying, that they got together and mismanaged the affairs of the usurped company. But she never states what that mismanagement was, other than him siphoning this cash off to other companies, which he's allowed to do in business. Okay? So then she alleges a violation of the Lanham Act, which is a federal unfair competition, which she says, here it is. She says, the defendant's association with the other businesses with the usurped company is likely to cause confusions, cause mistakes, and deceive students. Okay. This is her first allegation where she's actually talking about someone. She said it's likely to cause confusion. But when you register with Boyce Watkins' program, he has specifically what you're registered for. He doesn't have the Black Wealth. He has up there Black Business School. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
So far as you know.
I know.
He's not getting paid under any other name as far as any other business except for
the Black Business School.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Now he may be getting paid to speak. That may not be under the Black Business School. Right. But that's somebody, paying him to come and speak. You're not joining up for the Black Wealth Boot Camp to pay this motherfucker to come speak at a college. You understand? Simple shit. All right. She's alleging these violations, but again, in a complaint, this is known as a legal conclusion, not an allegation. There's a difference. What it means is you're saying I did something, but you're not stating the facts to show what I did. She said his conduct is likely to damage her in the future. Doesn't say he does, says likely to, and it causes irreparable harm. All of that is boilerplate language. She said defendant's willful infringement and deceptive tactics, that is an exceptional case. Given defendants willful infringement, deceptive tactics, this is an exceptional case. In other words, because it's me, it's different. It's exceptional because it's me. And plaintiffs are entitled to treble damages and reasonable attorney's fees. Okay? So, and then she has a prayer of relief here that makes because you have to have a jurisdictional amount in federal court. You got to sue for at least $75,000. All right. Okay, so then she alleges breach of contract, and she goes through here again. I got 18%. I should get more money. That's what this complaint is. This complaint is about I should get more money. So my question, and I'm sure what his complaint is going to be, is you've been with me for 6 years. You've been getting paid. How much more money do you think you deserve? He's going to put that in his complaint as an affirmative defense, that he cashed her out. Okay. And I bet you the amount that he put in there is going to come up to her 18%. All right. That's exactly how they going to kick this case, but he got to be careful. Because the reason why Boyce Watkins has to be careful, because he don't want it to come out that he been tricking.
It'd be a bad look. As far as his business is concerned. I mean, just imagine, he online and just the fact that he's online and he's does he get donations?
I think he may get donations from YouTube. I think he may, but I'm not for certain.
I don't know if anybody's like giving him money or giving him whatever and shit. Then to find out that you know, he doing some Umar Johnson shit, you know, kicking it. And of course, he's not like you know, partying with strippers with wigs and whatnot, man. But you know, if he's using this money to do unsavory acts, unsavory business practices with his so-called female employees or independent contractors, yeah, that would be a bad look. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting the vibe, man, that he's doing a lot of business. You know what I mean? He's doing a lot of tricking under the guise of business.
Yes.
I'm getting that vibe, man, because there's too many females, you know, on some satellite on his periphery, man, and there's too many of them that's angry and get mad at him, and that only happens, man, you know what I mean, when you mix business with pleasure, man, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could be wrong, you know what I mean, but, you know, that's just the vibe I'm getting, man, you know, because I've been through it, you know, I've seen it with Cosby, I've seen it with a lot of players, man, where they got their wires crossed, you know what I mean, where the female thought that she was actually something special, you know, the apple of a brother's eye, whatever, and he just went ahead and changed her, like, you know, he changed his drawers and moved on, you know, shit, because, you know, he got with the Zaza chick, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, cause I think that was around the same time all that shit was popping. We brought Zaza in, you know, she was looking all googly-eyed at him, and he was all blushing. It was
smiling in the video and cheesing like, and shit.
You look at this dude, man.
He didn't give Griff an opportunity to do no goddamn rebuttal. He was just there with her cheesing in the video, smiling.
Yeah, but I think he wised up. I think he seen, you know, the fangs and homegirl, man. I think he seen she had too much game for him. I don't think he messed around with her. He said, nah, you got to go.
Yeah, he broomed her. He broomed her.
Oh, shit, man.
Now, she has count 3 here, which is tortious interference with the contract, which is basically restates the same allegations. That I got 18% interest. He used the company, Black Wealth Boot Camp, to siphon off much of the money, and he interfered. Tortious interference with contract means you interfere with my ability to contract or do business elsewhere. So what she's saying is through these other entities, it interfered with her contractual relationships between her and the Black Wealth Boot Camp. So in other words, because you took all the money and put it over here, the money that would have normally gone to me under our agreement went to you under these shell companies. Okay. All right. So it's basically the allegations are largely repetitive and they're really largely pedestrian. And then, of course, she has a misappropriation of funds, which basically says the same thing. You notice she never says how much money she put in. Okay. She keeps saying, I put in time, labor, and she says financial resources, but she never says how much that is. She never puts a dollar amount. And in all fairness, you in a complaint, your damages don't have to be particular. They can be you can make those allegations without stating a number, but I just find it interesting in here that she doesn't put a dollar amount, because the truth is she didn't put very much money in it. Now she put in some work.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She put in some work. She put in some work like a motherfucker. But it doesn't say how much money she put in. Yeah. But she put in some work. And I think that's what she hollered about. She put in some work. Okay. So then she deals with unjust enrichment. Okay. This is a claim where she probably would have something, and that's not to say that she does, but she may have a complaint here, because the question is how much did Watkins compensate her for during the time she was employed? How much did he pay for during the time that he was? I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say during the time he was tricking with this woman. How much did he give her? Okay. You see what I'm saying? So arguably she may be owed some money for some extra work she did here and there. But if he had her for 6 years, come on, dog. She was putting in some work.
You know, like I said, it brings back shades of Zaza, Ali, and Griff. How Zaza and Griff were allegedly just business partners. Yep. And for the longest, you know, everybody was kind of speculating, like, man, you know, like, what's really going on here? Because everybody kind of perceived Griff to be, you know, kind of lackadaisical, kind of soft on homegirl, man, because she was saying a lot of greasy shit that, you know, cats thought that, man, you know, why won't Griff check homegirl? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he tried to keep it under wraps. He tried to keep it out of the public eye. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like I said, mixing with business and pleasure, you know, in the pro-black circles between these brothers that's doing so-called pro-black business, and they little secretary, I don't know what you would call these females, a little hanger-ons,
little receptionists,
the little receptionists and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, y'all need to keep it 100, man. We see, especially me and Tony, we definitely see what the hell y'all doing, man. You know what I mean? You fool some of these gumps. You ain't fooling us, boy. I see what's going on.
Receptionist, and the only thing she receiving is them balls. All right, she also has a breach of contract claim here, a breach of fiduciary duty, a conversion claim, and a usurpation of corporate opportunities, and unfair trade practices, and accounting, and that's about it. And the reason I'm not going to go over those is anyone can go online and you can find this yourself. The only thing she's doing is restating what she's already said. Okay. So with that said, we're through the entire 21 page 6 or 7 count complaint.
Okay.
And in every count, what she's saying is that he shuffled money between his various enterprises.
Okay.
She calls it misappropriation. She calls it usurpation of corporate opportunities. She calls it breach of fiduciary duty. She calls it breach of contract. She calls it unjust enrichment. She calls it violations of the Lanham Act. But really, the only thing she's saying is, I want some more money.
Now, during the time he was shuffling his money between his multiple businesses, you can't shuffle money between multiple businesses if the businesses are dissolved, right?
The businesses are gone. But
I know, but at the time, were the businesses legit? Were they actually still function? I mean, were they still legal?
Yes, they were still functional.
Okay.
Because again, even if that's the case, the problem. See, I have to go by what's here.
Right.
She's not saying he funneled money to dissolve businesses.
Right.
I got to go by what's in this complaint.
Okay.
She's not saying he sent any money to the Black Wealth Boot. She was in the Black Wealth Boot Camp. Nor does she say that any of these organizations, Boyce Watkins, LLC.com, Great Black Speakers, Watkins Media. She never makes the allegations in this complaint that any of those businesses were dissolved.
Okay.
She just said he shuffled money, and that's how he siphoned. Not shuffling money. Let's make a distinction, because in law, words mean something. He shuffled the profits. That's a legal mean, because the operating capital is money too.
Okay.
That's money that you need to run the business. Profit is money over and above what you need to operate the business.
Right.
So what she's saying is he shuttled the profits between these organizations, not the operating funds, not the student tuition money, the profits that came from that. In other words, after he subtracted the cost of doing business, he shuffled the profit he reinvested in his other businesses. And what she's saying is, I didn't get a chance to get any of that money because he shuffled it elsewhere. So now the question becomes is, how much money do you think you owe?
How much money does she think he owes?
Yeah. Okay. How much money does she think she's owed? Or how much money does he owe her? Which is the same difference.
Right.
How much money are you owed? Okay? And that's why she also stuck in an accounting claim. But even in the accounting claim, she doesn't state how much money she's been shorted by.
Right.
She doesn't state how much money, how do you quantify a PowerPoint presentation? On what hourly wage?
Right.
How do you quantify organizing his speaking lectures? How do you put a dollar on it? And again, the law is so liberal that she doesn't have to. She just has to make the allegations. So we back to the same shit with Cosby. Allegations.
Allegations. Sucks to be a black man, bro.
And then, there's now that we've gone through that, there's some other fundamental shit. You see, Boyce Watkins is always on YouTube telling, oh, how much I love black women. We're sure you do. We know you love black women. But you notice that you check what type of black woman is always around Boyce Watkins.
I don't know, I think you might be jumping the gun here. I think it's just only 2, ain't it? It's just only 2.
Zaza Ali was around Boyce Watkins. What kind of broad was she?
Okay, yeah.
Michi X is around.
Like
Boyce Watkins.
Just two.
Vicky Dillard.
Oh, she's with Boyce too?
She's with Your Black World.
I know that. Okay.
And this broad, which is 4.
But the one that's suing, she ain't no criminal broad though.
That's the only one.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only one.
Okay.
But my point is, he hangs around a majority of hood bitches.
And it could be, just like what you said in the last podcast, you were basically talking about how these major corporations, they latch on to ratchet hood bitches.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they do so-called questionable acts in business, and they lead a broad to hold the bag. Or it could be just like in my case, when I wanted to shield myself from sexual abuse allegations or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I definitely, you know what I mean, I did not go for the higher echelon broads in society, because if I ever was accused of something, I always felt that their word would have more weight. You know what I mean? I purposely, no doubt, you know, man, I kept it as low as I could, as far as the lowest common denominator with the most scummiest hood bitch that I could fuck with, man, because I knew most of them broads had records. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I knew that most of the broads that had records didn't want nothing to do with no police. Didn't want nothing to do with no court. You know what I mean? So if I ever got into some fucked up shit with a broad,
you wouldn't have to worry about
the last thing she want to do is run to the cops, because the bitch got warrants. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it could be the same shit with Boyce here.
That's exactly the same shit with Boyce.
You know what I'm saying? He's probably banking on the fact that, you know, all
these bitches got records.
They got records and they got unsavory past. The last thing they want to do is possibly kick up some dust if shit don't go their way, because people be digging in their past and, you know, and see how fraudulent or how unsavory their character is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. He just managed to fuck with one that's legit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He mistook her fear of the system. Mm-hmm. He put a little bit too much weight in his celebrity and didn't understand, you know, that this broad had nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. Now, if he did something like that with Michi X, he probably would have got away with it. Okay. Because I don't see Michi X suing.
Right.
If he does some shit like that with Vicky Dillard, I don't see Vicky Dillard suing. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Again, but then there's something else. I really believe Boyce Watkins loves hood bitches.
Well, man, kind of hard to go against that when you see
him surrounded with hood bitches.
Surrounded by hood bitches that's all of a sudden so-called reformed into that pro-black. Oh, these broads too, man. Let me see. The only one that I could possibly even tolerate would be Zaza Ali, even though she's, you know, she's a demon, she's a succubus. You know, she's still, you know, she's pleasant to look at, and plus, just when I hear her speak, she it's not like nails on a chalkboard. You know what I'm saying? With these other broads, it's like, oh man, how can you have this broad around you, man? This Michi chick and what's
Vicky Dillard?
Yeah, man. The Dillard broad, she's, man, phonier than a fucking $4 bill, man. That bitch, super goddamn phony. The Michi chick, I would imagine, like some people have told me, like, Big Mike, you know, I fucks with your show, man, but sometimes listening to you, you know, it's cringeworthy, man. Sometimes, you know, just the way you speak and the way you say things and the profanity, you know what I mean? It's cringe. That's the way I feel when I hear Michi talk. It's like, oh, I wish you would just shut up. Oh my God, I just be cringing like, Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man. It's like, this the crew that Boyce got around him, man? Like, hell nah, man. The only one I could even halfway stomach would be goddamn Zaza, man. And also, on that note, let me say something, man. From the last show we did, damn, forget the brother name. I've had like several responses, man. I had some emails and I had some stuff in the comment section. And one of the brothers asked me, man, shout out to that brother. You know, we had a decent conversation. It was an adult conversation. We just agreed to disagree. But he said that, do I think that my vision of Cynthia G is clouded by the fact that I have a propensity to kind of like have an affinity for hood broads, hood chicks and shit, you know what I'm saying?
for pimp culture.
Yeah, pimp culture. That, yeah, and I was like, nah, man. Like, what you're looking at here is you're looking at a military man. You're looking at a man that's been in the military, man, as far as worked in prisons. You know what I'm saying? All my life, naval ROTC. I'm just a military man, and due to the fact that I rock with what Cynthia G was talking about, how the man is ground zero and everything starts with the man. And if the woman is out of pocket, it's because the man is not doing his job. That's some military shit. It ain't got shit to do with, me liking hood bitches. You know what I'm saying? And if it was a situation where I was blinded by the mystique of a hood bitch, then why did I come down so hard on Zaza? Why didn't her hood mystique work magic on me, and why did I come down hard on her? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was like, nah, man. It's just simple, man. I just resonate with what Cynthia G was talking about as far as the man being ground zero and the black man need to step up his game, man. You know what I mean? So, fellas, no, it don't have jack shit to do with, me having a propensity to like hood bitches, man. I believe in the pimp culture, man. Everything start with the man. If your broad is out of pocket, it's because, nigga, you ain't doing something right. That's it. Hell nah.
Well, when we come to the verdict of whether or not Boyce Watkins is fraudulent, if we go by this complaint, Boyce Watkins is not fraudulent because, right. And even though her allegations may hint as such in the business world, what Boyce Watkins is doing is basically what any business does. As a matter of fact, a defense to these allegations, they have something across jurisdiction called the good business rule. In other words, you can take any financial action in a company if you can show that there was a reasonable business consideration in making that action. Mm-hmm. If the motivation was to keep your businesses afloat, you can do some shit that some people may not like, but that doesn't make it illegal. Okay. You understand? Yeah. So the problem that I got here is that this complaint has holes in it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Complaints don't have to be perfect. They just have to be structurally in a certain manner. They have to be structurally sound. In other words, the paragraphs got to be numbered. You got to have a prayer for relief. You got to state what the problem is. You have to properly name the defendant, and you have to say what it is they did and what you want. Doesn't mean it's true. They just have to say what it is. But the allegations here is so much shit left out. That bespeaks of a trick relationship. And that is... my trick detector is off the meter. It's off the meat rack here. My trick Geiger counter is just off the chain. What Boyce Watkins is guilty of, Boyce Watkins is in the closet. Come out of the closet, Dr. Watkins. Join us. Join us. Join us.
You can't do that in public, man. He need to keep it under wraps. I'm with him on this one. Keep it under wraps as long as you can, man. You know what I'm saying?
But it ain't under wraps no more.
Well, we'll see.
Well, here's the thing. No one has come out and disclosed. No female has come forth with allegations of sexual misconduct.
Right.
But you can clearly see that there's something going on here that is untoward. You can clearly see no man is going to take a woman in another state that is a full-time blogger. There's nothing, you're not going to convince me that this woman was just so exceptional in a 4-month period of time that she would go from a full-time job in another state to manage the career of a PhD finance professor and travel with him. And so if she was his manager, she would travel with him. You mean a guy of Boyce Watkins' stature could not find a managing agent other than somebody who he employed for 4 months in another state?
Plead the fifth, homie. I ain't got nothing to say, man. Hey, power tricks all day. We gotta protect our own, man. So I'm gonna have to destroy this interview. I'm gonna destroy this. It shall not see the light of day on YouTube.
It shall not see the light of day on YouTube.
It shall not. No, it shall not. And also, look, players, understand this, man. We don't have no dog in this fight, man. If anything, I was thoroughly incensed by the way Boyce treated Cosby when this shit went down, man. So it ain't like, I'm just defending Boyce.
Watkins pulled a Sean James.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a situation where it doesn't matter what happens either way. We're going to report on it. You know what I mean? We're going to basically hit y'all with the real, whether it's positive or negative. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we're not biased in this regard because I ain't gonna lie, man, for the longest, I was kind of hoping that Boyce
get caught up.
Yeah, get caught up, man. You know what I mean? But from what I'm seeing, my bullshit detector ain't really going off yet. I've been in the same boat as Boyce and as Cosby. You know what I mean? So when I see shit, bro, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. I've been there. I've done that. You know what I mean? So I don't wish no shade. Just like I didn't wish it on Cosby, I don't wish it on Boyce. But to a degree, it would be good if he got just a little taste of that bullshit that he was throwing on Cosby. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a big difference between knowing the path and walking it. And I think Boyce need to, walk a little bit of that path before we start throwing out them accusations like he did on Cosby, man. You know what I mean?
Well, he came out later and said he thought it was a lynching. Yeah. But initially, he was kind of hard on Mr. Cosby.
He was leading the charge on that shit.
Yeah, he was. So, you know what they say, what comes around goes around. Yeah, and this is a bit of poetic justice. It don't feel so good when you're on the other end of the sword, does it, Dr. Watkins? Mm-hmm. And and he's sitting there handicapped and won't say nothing and trying to say, well, I'm going to take the high road. I'm not going to feed into haters. No, nigga, you're not saying anything because you were tricking with these broads. You were cupcaking, and you know what you did was, she turned you out with some of that bomb ass head, and you made some promises that you knew you couldn't keep. And when it got too deep for you, you found a way to broom them, and now she's suing. But if you say that out loud, all the other women are going to look at you funny style. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. Here's what they won't tell you. They're there for the same reason. They're there hoping to trick with you. Right. They're hoping that you'll take them to an interview to the Breakfast Club. They're hoping to personally manage you. You see, they're hoping to get the opportunity that Dillard got, but they would finesse it a little way. Because a little different way. Because that's what females would do. Females would sit there and say, well, damn, if that was me, I would have done it this way. I would have finessed it different. This is how she fucked it up. This is the mistake she made. All these so-called fly Nubian queens that are associated with your channel, right? They're waiting to get the chance to do what Vicky Dillard did. They may feign moral outrage, which I don't think they will, because they're eating, by association with his name. Yeah. They're getting known. They're getting fame, or they're getting a reputation by association with him. So no, they're not going to really ride against him right now. But rest assured, they would like the opportunity, the same opportunity that this woman has. That's what they would have. But now he knows that he can't trust them to keep their mouths shut. You see what I'm saying? And that is a lesson. When I tell y'all I got 75, you think I'm just saying I got 75 as a joke. No, 75 is not for you to stay. 75 is for you to go. Because the longer you hang around, the more shit you come up with. The more schemes and shit you come up with. The more fucked up, the more fucked up ideas you come to think you should get something that you don't deserve. So no, this is what you deserve. This is what you're getting. Until next time, I got 75.
75.
I got 75. I got 75 for you to go. That's it. Or whatever limited amount of money I give you, this is what it is. Now go. Because he's in this position for the precise reason that he kept this woman around way too long.
All right, man, let's close this joint on out, man. Once again, gentlemen, fuck, I lost my train of thought. That's how I know I'm tired of the motherfucker, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close this on out. I'm going to give you parting words, man. It's Big Mike, Almighty Triple XL, coming at y'all live and direct from Mac City Limits Radio Show at MacCity.com and PowerStrategy.com. Yeah, man, once again, I'm not agreeing with no Cynthia G because, I perceive her as a hood bitch. No. I mean, if that was the case, then I would have gave Zaza a pass, right? Okay, no, I didn't give Zaza a pass. And like I said, I believe that the man is ground zero. If the bitch is out of pocket, it's because the man lets her be out of pocket. And that's basically some military shit, man. You know what I mean? There are no excuses in war. And so I'm just having a moment with my drill sergeant, you know what I mean? When I'm listening to Cynthia G, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no excuses. No excuses, soldier. No excuses. Shoot, conquer. Adapt and conquer. You feel me? So that's all that is, man. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody being mesmerized by no hood bitch, man. So go ahead, Tony. Take us out.
Boyce Watkins is not guilty of any fraud with respect to these allegations.
Right.
This is a woman that's saying she wants more money, that she's entitled to more money. She said because he distributed money to these businesses, profits to these businesses. Well, Boyce Watkins put up all the money.
Okay.
If Boyce Watkins put up all the money, he's entitled to a lion's share of the profits.
Okay.
That's simple business 101.
Okay.
If he took the risk, is his name out there, not hers. Arguably, at best case scenario, this woman is an employee, but let's give her the designation as an independent contractor, right? Mm-hmm. Let's give her that designation. Still, this woman is not saying she has not been paid.
Okay.
She's just saying she didn't get what she thinks is her fair share of the profits. That's not defrauding people. That's her saying she's entitled to some money. She's saying he defrauded me because I didn't get what I think I'm worth. So now the question becomes, what do you think your services are worth? She didn't put $1 on anything. She didn't even say whether she was paid at all. And there's no way this woman will hang around for 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and not be paid. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that didn't happen. Common sense tells me that didn't happen. So this complaint is not about, this doesn't illustrate, or this doesn't demonstrate that Boyce Watkins is fraudulent to the public. This demonstrates that this is a woman who thinks she's entitled to something. And she may believe that she's entitled to more than what she actually deserves. We deal with this shit all the time.
Man, don't I?
Now, if Boyce Watkins is guilty of something, Boyce Watkins is fraudulent when it comes to tricking. Because he won't be mode one with his tricking. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He won't come out and say, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. He wants to use enticements, which I have no problem with. I personally agree with enticements. Mm-hmm. But the problem is there are too many gray areas in the agreement, and it's causing him a lot of suffering. So if anything would cause me to look fraudulently at Boyce Watkins is the people that he has around him, the women that he has around him that's associated with your black world. That would give a fraudulent vibe, but then again, I know what that is. As one trick to another, I see you. I see you.
Well, for legal purposes, we have to say his alleged tricking.
Alleged.
Mm-hmm. It is not a proven fact.
Yeah, it has not been proven beyond with a preponderance of the evidence. It has not been proven by a preponderance of the evidence. So it is alleged tricking. Wink, wink, wink. Alleged tricking. So with that being said, powerandstrategy.com, my article drop on there, but most of my new stuff is on the Negro Manosphere, which is on Tuesday. I dropped 2 articles yesterday for Christmas. My stuff drops on the Negro Manosphere every Tuesday. Come to powerandstrategy.com, subscribe to the website. If you want to support by PayPal, wayofstrategies44@gmail.com. That's wayofstrategies44@gmail.com. Or if you want to go to Patreon and you want to support by Patreon, it is Power of Strategies at patreon.com. And as always, check for us here at Mac City. And you know the saying, Mac, you always smell your own. Dr. Watkins.
Shit.
We smell you.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? What was I about to say? Oh yeah. Cats have been wanting to know about the archives as far as the old Mac City Limits shows. I'm throwing all my old joints in the Patreon, man. All my old joints. I'm scouring all my hard drives, getting all my old joints, man. I'm gonna be loading them all up into the Patreon. So in the future, if y'all want to listen to the classics, they will be in my Patreon, man. And of course, once again, like I said, I put my join button back on the front of MacCity.com because the response has been overwhelming. You know what I mean? I can't keep up with the PayPal shit, man. You know, so I'm gonna just go ahead and throw the link back up on top of the website on the front page, and that way y'all can get y'all username and password that way, man, instead of me sending y'all shit through the PayPal. It was just getting crazy, man. So once again, listen, you want the old classics, and there gonna be some new joints also, some Patreon exclusives coming real soon. I'm actually gonna give y'all the blueprint. First time ever, I'm gonna give y'all the blueprint on how to effectively power trick. And this, man, I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed because it's all predicated upon the user. But it worked for me, and it worked for damn near 15, 20 years. So I'm gonna give y'all a step-by-step tutorial on how I did it. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be a Patreon exclusive, man. That's gonna probably be in the next couple weeks. You know what I mean? Yeah, if I could stop doing all these, if Tony would stop interrupting my sleep and telling me let's do a show, I'll probably be able to get that show. I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
Oh man, please.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Yeah, it's Tony's fault when I'm doing a show every day.
No, that's not.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not my
I need my beauty rest, son.
That's not my fault. But anyway, well, if that's my fault, I'll take responsibility for that. But yeah, if it's anything worth paying for, it would be that tutorial about how to power trick effectively. But again, that's predicated upon the skill of the user. We don't offer any money back guarantees. You can forget that shit because you just may be someone who is not cut out for it. So,
again, boy, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give y'all the blueprint, boy, because people been asking me for years, and I just been kind of like swerving it, man. But now that I got this Patreon, I'm like, shit, man. If y'all want to listen to this shit, man, y'all gonna join that Patreon and listen to the techniques, boy. Yeah, man. So what's up, man? Shout out to the whole crew, the Mac City Limits crew, man. Appreciate y'all coming in, supporting us, man. One love for real. We really appreciate it, man. So this is Big Mike, the Fat Maxter, coming at y'all live and direct from MacCity.com, Mac City Limits Radio Show, and PowerStrategy.com. And we out. And we out. And we out.